Hello students, once again I'm back here with you in this lecture, and why I'm telling about that I'm back here with you because you're also watching this video and I'm teaching you on this virtual video. So today we will learn the next phase of the arrival of this British as well, the arrival of the Europeans people in India here, where the lesson, as you can see right, you can read behind me, that is rise of British rule in India and syllabus of the 9th standard English medium. So what was the basic fact which we need to understand, and why the people they came to India? As I know that, I'll explain with you also, and I'll share that thought also with you. But before that I make you explain, you need to understand that the map shows that it is exactly like your textbook. That star shows that Portuguese colony, French colony and British colony. Now why was there a need to establish these kinds of colonies? There was a need to establish these kinds of colonies because the colonies of these British people, Portuguese people, French people will make their people to come together and to fight together also, and to make them to stable in India. So if we talk about these kinds of colonies, we will talk about the arrival of a European also in India. So the Portuguese were the first to arrive in India, as you know that, and after that they started their trade to run in India. So we'll take the paragraph number 1 about the arrival of the British rule. So arrival of the Europeans in India, the Portuguese, as I said you, they were the first in India. They arrived in India. They also made their expansion of the territory and many more things also. They controlled over several territories. Okay, now after that discovery of sea route, as you know that Vasco da Gama, okay, and many other brave sailors, they came here. But if you talk about the discovering the sea route to India with the span of 100 years, if you talk about 100 years, 100 साल के span में, with the span of 100 years, okay, in the graph span of the 100 year, there all the rule somehow went to the more on, means they went towards the last topic of the success. So in this case of theory, they captured several territories, okay, they captured several places of our nation. So which were the places of our nation? If you would describe like that, here we need to understand that Diu was there, as you can see in the map, okay, Diu, Daman, Dadar Nagar Haveli, okay, Kochi, Malacca and many other remaining territories they captured here. So why they captured these kinds of territories? Because they were trying to prove themselves that we can rule this India, and Indian people are somehow not having that mentality where they can rule this country. So they also inspired other people. So if I talk about the other people, like after the inspiration, after the success got the Portuguese, inspired by the Portuguese success in the trade, the Dutch also came here, means the Holland people. So the Danish trade also, the Danish people also came there, the Dutch people also came here, and they also established their trademark here, like Danish from the Denmark. Trademark means trading system they established here. So in this trade, the English trader also established their leadership. So establishing about the leadership, they went on more on, means they actually went to profit their nation on account of Indian people, or the Indian, you can say that farmers and other things here. So if you talk about the year 1600 AD, okay, the year 1600 AD, something went more, okay. What was that here? If you talk about within the expansion of this rule in the 1600 AD or 1600 year AD, that is the Queen Elizabeth of England gave a permission. Now why there was a permission for the India from the Queen? Because Queen and Kings were also thinking that Indian people should be looted out, Indian people should be checked out very well what they are having and not, and we should have all the materials which are helpful for our nation. So by the permission of this Queen Elizabeth, as I said you, the East India Company came here to carry the trade in the eastern countries, okay. So eastern countries, eastern part of the countries, they came here. So India was also one of them here. So therefore after the domination here, the leadership started here. Captain William, as you know that the name, Captain William Hawkins arrived at the port of Surat. So William Hawkins arrived at the port of Surat, and what he did, he established the trade center there. But there was the rule of other persons or the other people also, but somehow we can say they struggled well by the help of protest of Marathas and all, but finally they established this kinds of rule in Surat, but it was not longer for the last time. So within some days only they needed to be protested and protected, they needed to be go outside of that Surat port. So what happened? Due to the opposition of this other we can say the Marathas and other things, like other people of the Surat, and especially the dominating king and queen at that time, they were not allowed to establish their trade center for a longer time. And after that, finally they moved the East India Company to the Mughal emperor's kingdom. Means not at the kingdom, means by the permission of Mughal emperor, they tried to make their kingdom or to make their British East India Company go in the different direction, means in the different state here. So if I go more further, the Mughal emperor gave the permission. Now why the Mughal emperor gave the permission? Because there was a demand of profit from the Mughal emperor also. So who was that person? Jahangir was the person who gave the British East India Company to establishment permission from the Koti in Surat. So in the 1613 AD, other part, means not the port part but the other part, initially they established in the Surat, and later on Bharuch, Ahmedabad, and all the part they slowly covered out. So this was happening, but again we can say that now the real people of the Marathas came in the front, means the Maratha rulers, the Maratha warriors came in the front, and they said that no, we will not make this people, this company, this industry to establish in the Surat. So what they did, they generally protested very hard, and due to the strong presence of Marathas in the region of Surat, company sensed danger means company was feeling insecure, danger in the existence, and hence they moved towards the Surat and moved towards the Surat to the eastern part of that and tried to establish their colonies there. So they went directly set up in their colonies to the Machilipatnam, okay, out of the Surat, Machilipatnam, and like Andhra Pradesh, St. George, Chennai, Fort William, Kolkata, and Mumbai, and etc. So this happened in the year of 1687. So I'm talking about this kinds of port also, or the Kolkata too, where you can find the Fort William. So they set up their colonies there. Now why they set up their colonies there? Because see, you can see that these all are the states, or the Kochi you talk about, or Malaccas and all, or Fort William and all, they all are related with the sea boundaries. They are related with the sea boundaries, means it's easy access to move out from there whenever there is a attack of the Indians here. So after that, what happened? They established their colonies there, and slowly the French also interested to come here in India, because India was the state capital. India was the country which was progressing well at the time, and also giving this all the opportunity for the other people. So therefore it was remained that the French also arrived in the trading system in the Indian zones, and that was in the year 1668. So that is French colonies or French people came in 1668. Okay, so this date you need to remember out here. So when they came here, they also established their colony one by one, or they tried to struggle well, because there was a heavy protest between these Britishers, Portuguese, French, Dutch, Holland, Danish, Denmark, all the people. It was a heavy protest between them. So they were also needed to proclaim themselves very hardly to make their market going on in the Indian bazaars or in the Indian people of the family. So that was the condition which we need to understand in the theory of this lesson. And apart from that, if we talk about what was happening, see, actually in this all theory of the topic, this all the game, means this game of the ruling ship was related with the profit only. Now when it is related with the profit only, everybody needs to get the profit. So the French colonies established, eventually set up their trade center at the Mahe, okay, Karaikal, and Puducherry, that is known as Pondicherry, then Chandan Nagar, and many more other territories needed or zone related to that kind of areas. So after that, they rule entire somehow the provinces nearby that, or the state's capital nearby that, small villages. They also took control over the farmers and the market of the Indian people. So latterly what happened there, Machilipatnam was also in their control, and etc. were also in the control. So till the startup of the 18th century, means if I talk about the French, in the startup of the 18th century, they established their centers means they expanded their business somehow in the English and French, but somehow they were establishing their rules consequently. There was some kinds of conflicts also with the other trading groups, means they were having like a combat, small fight between everybody. Why? Because everyone needs to establish their market. So between, if you talk about the world leadership conquering more territories between 1746, if you talk about, there was a leadership between French and British, Portuguese East India Company, that who will establish their colonies more, who will rule like a world ruler. So in the 1764, if I talk about, and 1763, there was a 3 Mysore war between French East India Company and the British East India Company too. Now why East India Company of the French and the British East India Company was fighting? Because they needed to rule the global shape, or they need to become the global leaders. So after that, they making easy expansion of the British East India Company. Thus at the end of the war battle, the Portuguese were somehow left out, all the 3 groups fighting here. When the Portuguese left out, what happened? One power is existing from one area, another power will take capture of that. So when the Portuguese went out, we need to understand they also remain in some part of the zone. They directly don't, they are not like directly just to go and leave the nation. It's not like that. They will be like going after some time only, like they were somehow capturing the other zones here. So the Portuguese were left out with the other small territories, like with the other small zones of our India. So they were not given permission to rule everywhere in India. So therefore they settled with Diu Daman, Goa, while the French, after the battle, British, Portuguese and French, the trio were fighting, where the French was left over with the Chandannagar, Mahe, Karaikal, Puducherry, and meanwhile the Dutch, if we talk about, the Dutch went away back to the nation. So let me define you here what is happening here in this lecture. See, there is a battle. If I explain you, there is a battle between Portuguese, between French, British East India Company and Dutch. Okay, Dutch went away, British got supremacy, French people went for a side of Goa, Diu Daman, okay, and Portuguese were left with the Mahe, Karaikal and Pondicherry. So this is the basic thing which we need to understand. So one team is existing from here, one team exits from here, and the other team is remain. So what happened? Now we'll study about the Battle of Bengal, means the rule over Bengal. As we can say, Sir Siraj-ud-Dowlah. Sir Siraj-ud-Dowlah, who was he? He was actually Nawab of Bengal. Now he was Nawab of Bengal. What was his opinion to rule? To rule his state of nation very peacefully, progressfully, and also very kindfully with the people. But Plassey, means Battle of Plassey also means that Plassey was the place in the Bengal which was also having all the good stuff which can be attracting the Britishers, and therefore the Britishers were thinking to take that state, take that whole control over the battle of over the Plassey also, and over the Bengal too here. So at that time we talk about in the impulsive nature, the impulsive is very hard nature of the Sir Siraj-ud-Dowlah. Some of his own opinion people were not supporting him, and this was taken advance by the Britishers because they needed to fight. And as I said you that these companies, some of the opponents were also there in this area. Opponents means some of the rivals of the Siraj-ud-Dowlah, as well the Britishers were also there. So meanwhile British East India Company had built the fortress. Fortress means किले जैसी दीवार अपनी कंपनियों के आसपास, अपनी कॉलोनी के आसपास in the Bengal. Okay, तो उसे तोड़ दिया गया. It was broken by Sir Siraj-ud-Dowlah. So but Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowlah destroyed all the fortress, and then when it was the news reached to Madras में एक और soldier commander in chief general था, that was Robert Clive. He got the news inside his own territory, that inside his own zone, that my fortresses or my king's fortresses are broken down by this person whose name is Sir Siraj-ud-Dowlah. He got impatient. He got angry, and after that, in spite of army to East India Company sending, he just made attempt to send the army to conquer the Kolkata or to conquer the Bengal, the Plassey, but he was failed. So he was thinking Robert Clive to do something more better and further. So what happened? So Robert Clive resorted treachery. He made a very dangerous plan. What he made in the plan, generally a conspiracy was planned in order to defeat the Nawab. Nawab was not easily defeated. Sir Sirajuddaulah cannot be defeated easily, so he was making some effort to defeat the Nawab. And what he did, he coaxed his own person, means somehow he coaxed his own commander-in-chief whose name was Mir Zafar. Okay, coax means what? उसे अपनी तरफ ले लेना, कुछ पैसे या फिर कुछ जोन या फिर कुछ स्टेट्स का लालच देके कि आप अपने राजा को हराओ एंड वी विल गिव यू दिस काइंड्स ऑफ स्टेट, या फिर हम आपको वहाँ का राजा बनाएंगे. सो देयरफॉर ही कोएक्स मीर जाफर एंड सेट अमीर चंद टू, एंड दे बोथ वेर समहाउ कोएक्स्ड. एंड ऑन द प्रेजेंट डे नवाब unnecessarily harassing. What they said to the people, and they just gave a rumor in the people that Nawab is harassing unnecessarily, Nawab is taking tax unnecessarily, so you protest for that, you fight for him and all. So the war was declared in the village near Plassey. तो village में एक war हो गया जिसका नाम था the Battle of Plassey. Also means somehow they fought internally by the means or by the help of their own people, and they clashed together. Means Nawab is clashing together with his own group of the armies here, and according to the plan Mir Zafar had to be somehow become the Nawab. But होता क्या यहाँ पे से here basically unnecessarily harassing people, a war was declared against this near village named as Plassey. And after that, according to the plan, Mir Zafar lost the battle. Sir Sirajuddaulah was somehow defeated, and therefore again due to the Robert Clive's treachery, the battle of Plassey was ended in just half of the day. Means the battle was not successful. But Sir Sirajuddaulah somehow was defeated. So if we talk about he was defeated, he was somehow thinking to rule over Bengal, but there was a plan related with this fact to the Robert Clive. And what he did basically, after that what happened, the Battle of Plassey in just half of the day it finished here. The company had a result to got a freehold over 24 parganas. As per the result, if a king is defeated in the battle, he has to give his kingdom. I'll explain you in the very small and very clean language that Sirajuddaulah was having battle fight with the Robert Clive, means the British army, where Sirajuddaulah said, Mir Zafar, you need to lose the battle. तुम भी उसके साइड से लड़ना as you are the chief commander in general, लेकिन तुम लोग हार जाओगे. सिराजुद्दौला को पता नहीं चलने वाला है, उनको लगेगा हम हार गए, बिकॉज अकॉर्डिंग टू द रूल अगर एक किंग हारता है तो हिज ऑल द किंगडम शुड बी गिवन टू द ब्रिटिशर्स. तो सबसे पहले सिराजुद्दौला वाज डिफीटेड इन हिज ओवर आर्मी ग्रुप बाय द ब्रिटिशर्स एंड बाय हिज ओन पीपल. तो फिर होता क्या ऐसे में वहाँ पे एवरीथिंग इज गिवन टू द ब्रिटिश. तो पहले क्या दिया गया, दैट वाज 24 परगना, 24 परगना वाज गिवन देयर. ये एक प्लेस है वहाँ पे इन द बंगाल, फ्री होल्डर, एंड मीर जाफर वाज मेड नवाब ऑफ बंगाल. तस द फाउंडेशन, और मीर जाफर को क्या बना दिया, नवाब ऑफ बंगाल फ्रॉम द ब्रिटिश रूल, बिकॉज सर सिराजुद्दौला वाज ऑलरेडी डिफीटेड. बट एक्चुअली मीर जाफर हु वाज एक्चुअली फाइटिंग इन हिज ओन फ्रॉम हिज ओन ग्रुप ऑफ कैटेगरी वाज ऑन द साइड ऑफ ब्रिटिशर्स, नॉट ऑन द साइड ऑफ सिराजुद्दौला. सो ही वॉज समहाउ बिट्रेइंग हिमसेल्फ, वो धोखा दे रहा था सर सिराजुद्दौला को. एंड आफ्टर दैट क्या होता है, द कंपनीज रूल वॉज लेड विद द बैटल ऑफ प्लासी 1757. दिस डेज यू नीड टू रिमेंबर. तो बैटल ऑफ प्लासी का जो युद्ध था बेसिकली वो स्टार्ट हो गया इंटू 1757 और फिनिश भी हुआ. एंड आफ्टर दैट most of the Bengal zone was captured by this British East India Company. So my dear students, in this whole category of the development of our today's lecture, you may have understood, and I have tried to make you understand that how the dirty games were played by these Britishers. What was the condition of the Indian kings and queens? Why these Britishers came? Which territories they captured? As you can see in the map, everything here, that which kind of zone was captured by the Britishers, by the Portuguese, by the French people, or by the other people also. So we will meet in the next lecture with the next topic of the same lesson, where we will understand Battle of Buxar and many more related topics. topic. Till then you can keep quiet, sit at home and revise this topic, and also write some detailed notes, and also you can make these notes in the notebook so that you can understand how the map is showing the colonies, because this can be asked for the 2 to 3 marks in the exam about the filling of maps. So till then you can take care, and we'll meet in the other lecture. This was part 2. Wait for the part 3rd.